If you're near a window right now, just step away. Close the curtain, lock the door. Don't ask why. Just do it. This happened during my junior year of high school. I went to one of those smaller schools in a quiet town. You know the kind where nothing really happens, and everyone kind of knows everyone. My graduating class had, I think, 180 kids, maybe less. We weren't big on drama, no real fights, no crazy stories. Looking back, that made us feel safe, like we lived in our own little bubble. I think that's why this hit harder. There was a kid in our grade, Brandon. I wouldn't say he was bullied, not exactly. He just wasn't there. You'd see him in the hallway and forget he existed 2 seconds later. Always by himself, always in that same old hoodie. He never talked, not once in the 3 years I saw him at school. Honest to God, I never heard his voice. We had one class together, computer electives. This was back when schools still had those giant box monitors, dusty keyboards, that weird burnt plastic smell. Brandon always sat in the back left corner, alone, same seat, same posture, just staring at the screen, like nothing outside it mattered. At first, no one cared, but after a few weeks, some of the seniors in the class started saying stuff. Not loud, not obvious, just whispers. Wonder what he's planning. Dude probably sleeps with a ski mask on. It wasn't funny, not even then. But no one said anything, not even the teacher. And yeah, I didn't either. One time, someone flicked a balled-up paper at him, hit him right in the head. He turned around, slow, like it didn't even bother him, and looked at them. No expression, just this blank, flat stare that felt wrong, like there was nothing behind it. Honestly, that was the first time I felt afraid of him. I didn't say a word. I wish I had, but I didn't. A few days later, I saw him outside after school, sitting on the curb near the parking lot, hunched over, not moving. I was heading to my car and stopped, asked if he needed a ride. He looked up like he didn't understand the question, then nodded. He barely spoke, but during that 10-minute drive, he said one thing I still remember. He said, "Nobody notices you until they hate you." I didn't know what to say. Maybe I mumbled something like, "That sucks," or "People are dumb." I don't remember. After that, we didn't talk. Just small nods in the hallway. That's it. Then Friday happened. Brandon wasn't in class that day. Not in computer, not anywhere else. I didn't even think about it until 7th period. The intercom clicked on. "Attention, lockdown. This is not a drill." Our teacher didn't even speak. She jumped up, locked the door, shut off the lights, and told us to get in the corner. There's something about silence in a classroom that late in the day that makes your skin crawl. No talking, no coughing, just dead. Still. Then the principal's voice came on. He sounded calm, but forced. A masked individual carrying a large black bag was seen approaching the west entrance. Remain silent. Law enforcement is on the way. That's all he said. Nobody was caught. Nobody entered the school. They sent us home early. I remember driving back with this weird hollow feeling in my chest, like something had almost happened, but didn't. That night, I couldn't sleep, not sure why. I just felt unsettled. Around 1 a.m., I heard tapping, slow, light, repetitive. It was coming from my bedroom window. At first, I thought maybe it was a branch, but there was no wind. Then it happened again. Tap, tap, tap. I sat up, walked over to the window, pulled the blind back just an inch. Brandon was standing there, hood up, face pale, just staring at me through the glass. I opened the window, just a crack. My voice barely came out. "What are you doing?" He looked at me, calm, too calm. I almost did something today. I didn't even have to ask what he meant. I knew. He said, I thought about the ride you gave me. You were the only one. I couldn't speak. My throat felt tight. Then he said, Can I come in just to talk? I stood there, paralyzed. I don't know how long. Then I said, not yelling, but loud enough, Dad? Brandon flinched like a deer. Then he turned and walked off. We called the police. I gave them everything, his name, what he said, how he found me. He remembered I lived near the gas station, found my car, followed it. They didn't find him that night, but the next morning, he turned himself in. The bag was found near the edge of school property. I don't know what was inside. I don't want to know. He was charged. I heard he spent time in some kind of mental facility. Last I heard, he's out. Sometimes I think about whether I could have changed anything. If that ride meant more than I realized, or if he was just clinging to something, anything. But here's the part I can't stop thinking about. He didn't knock on the school's door. He didn't go to the police. He didn't go home. He came to my window. This happened in 2020 when I was in 5th grade. My best friend Adnaan lived a few houses down from me in a quiet neighborhood in Ashland, Oregon. One evening, we were playing Roblox at his place when the light suddenly went out and a loud pop came from outside. A storm was rolling in, and a branch had hit the lines. His parents weren't home, so we decided to head to my place 2 blocks away. It was dark, too. I checked the front, locked. Then I remembered the spare key under a fake rock out back. But when we got there, the sliding door was already cracked open. We crept inside, tense. Upstairs, we heard slow footsteps on the stairs. I grabbed a bat and we hid in my closet. Just as the door opened, it was my dad. He'd just gotten home and thought we were the intruders. Last winter, my boyfriend and I booked a tiny cabin near Lake Crescent in Washington. It was snowing hard that night. We drank cider, watched old movies, and went to bed around midnight. Later, I got up to pee, and while walking back, I noticed the front door was wide open. Snow covered the rug, but what froze me were the bare footprints. They led from the door to the center of the living room and stopped. Nowhere else. We called the cops. They found no one, no tracks outside. We left before sunrise.